What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? Happy Wednesday. What's up to everyone in the chat? Waffle, Kai, Ray, Kane, Sequasi, Crispy,
Wazzy!
Meg. How y'all doing?
Crispy, everybody!
I am Kaisa.
I am Marrone.
Welcome to Daily Gaming News, August 26th.
I love the delivery just now. That was so
Thank
good.
you.
So professional. Yes. Just take a moment and applaud that. I
I'm
hope everybody had a great day so far.
We hope everyone had a good one so far. We are playing again. Guess what's in the mug? No, it is not Tang. Marone and I will probably ignore all guesses until it's right. So if someone's like, "Was my guess right?" It wasn't right unless we've acknowledged it. Just so you know.
I love it. Out the gate, Kai's like, it is lemonade. Nope, not this time.
It is not. Yeah, cool shirt.
Hey, thank you so much. This is actually from that store in Portugal, Poland Bear, that I like to go to whenever I'm there. Yeah. So even Kika, she's over there now, and she was like sending me photos of some shirts and stuff, and I was like, yeah, that one. That one.
Shopping through the phone.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be covering some Microsoft Flight Simulator news. We're going to get into Outriders and Minecraft education.
We're also going to be talking about how a Unity IPO filing shows how big of a threat that it actually is to places like Epic and the Unreal Engine, as well as going to be talking about a game which looks really cool. Initial feeling is mixed, but a game called Monstrum 2.
And then maybe if we have time, we're going to touch on the Nintendo Switch and what Nintendo's plans are for that. Also, since we are uploading a lot of YouTube videos, it is hard for us to keep up with thumbnails. So if you or anyone you know might be interested, in helping us create YouTube thumbnails, let us know. You can let us know in the mailbag as well. In addition, if you have, any suggestions, questions, comments, topics you want us to talk about, send those in !mailbag and click that link.
And our emotes and badges are currently underway. We do have that happening, so we're excited to get those rolled out once they are ready.
We are looking forward to it. They're going to be super hyped. They're going to be super cool. But let's get into some gaming news.
Let's do it, because this was one we had mentioned the last episode, and I think this is huge. So big for Microsoft's Flight Simulator, and also just for PC sales in general, as it is expected to generate $2.6 billion in hardware sales in 3 years.
When I read that figure, I was like, did I read that right? So Microsoft...
Is that you're like, billion?
Billion?
Wow.
With a B? So Microsoft Flight Simulator will generate $2.6 billion in PC gaming and hardware sales in the next 3 years, says research from John Petty Researcher JPR. From flight sticks to high-end GPUs, the business of simulated flying is soaring thanks to the launch of the expansive title.
And the research firm is assuming sales of around 2.27 million units for Microsoft Flight Simulator over 3 years, which is likely meaning some variation from that 2.6 billion figure when it's all told. Now, anything near that grand total, and we are looking at a simulator with a significant and lasting impact on the hardware market.
Beyond that, PC components are in need of an upgrade for the demanding title. Ted Pollock, senior analyst at JPR, says flight simulators are incredibly demanding on processing capability and reward high resolution, large displays, and VR use. When new flight simulators are released, the hardware to run them at max settings and performance does not even exist yet.
Hence, it's the crisis of our generation. So this actually creates a situation of constant hardware demand over the life of the title as fans chase the best experience. A significant number of flight sim fans only play flight simulators. And this was taken into account when calculating whether the money will be spent specifically or partially because of this game.
And don't we know it, the gaming hardware doesn't yet exist to make Microsoft Flight Simulator really shine. But we would still have to, guess the exact amount of hardware sales by users' intention. And that's an imprecise art. So that 2.6 billion is definitely a very rough estimate as to the whole impact of Microsoft Flight Simulator on the market as a whole. We're also on the eve of a new GPU generation, and that's sure to pump up sales numbers as well.
Yeah, the other thing I read recently was that flight sticks are currently pretty much like out of stock everywhere.
I saw that too. People are just going for the flight sticks. People are buying a ton of gear for this. When I heard that there were going to be 2.27 million units sold, I'm like, still less than The Last of Us 2, which I think was 4 million units over the first 3 days or something crazy like that, just to put it in perspective. But Microsoft Flight Simulator is still widely popular, and it seems like a lot of people interested in it also have a lot of money to spend.
It really is. I would just take a moment and just express how surprised I was at somebody guessing coffee, even though I should probably think differently, because I was like, I went with lemonade last time. I'll go with coffee this time because everybody's going to think something obscure. But not Kane Guardian. Kane Guardian doesn't think obscurely. So shout out to Kane Guardian for the right pick there on coffee in the mug.
Big brain. Kane guessed tea. I do have tea. What kind of tea? It's a little bit obscure. A little bit obscure.
That is a long way to go. I should be like, what kind of coffee, huh? Name the beans.
Name the beans. What country they're from.
Right?
So with a flight simulator, I just think it's wild, how much news there is, how much content there is about Flight Simulator. People are crashing planes into their friends' houses. People are trying to land planes on like the Golden Gate Bridge. And people are having a ton of fun. We both saw the article about how 2 pilots, they did a simulation of like a real flight in real time, and they ended up being there for like way over 8 hours. I think
it was like a 16-hour stream.
I think
it was a real flight. And the cool part is there are other players playing. It's an online experience. So while you're flying around, you could be interrupted by that. And there was one moment, I think, where someone started to almost steer the plane to a place where they were like, you're going to crash, you're going to crash.
Oh, no.
He's like, I'm not going to crash, I'm not going to crash. Where you couldn't do something like that with like 200 passengers on your flight.
Oh my God, no.
But it was just really funny to see that. And the game is mind-blowing. The graphics are just breathtaking. All of those places they're photorealistic.
Real.
I mean, you're like there.
Right, for real. It's super exciting. It's wild to see, how much money this is going to generate in sales, especially with a new GPU generation, which is crazy to me. And those are really expensive to buy those new graphics cards. So this is still looking good for the PC market. This has been, a great year for sales in gaming and in PC hardware. And it seems like it's still on the up and up.
It really does. And to answer the question in the chat there from Adelius Maximus, there are actual places that I've heard where you can get in hours. It's considered real hours with Microsoft's Flight Simulator. It's, of course, not obviously being up in the sky flying a real plane, but it still can count towards the progression of getting that license, which I think is really cool. And some of the rigs are down to the minute detail of what it would be like in an actual cockpit. So I think there will be a point when this new version of Microsoft Flight Simulator probably just gets integrated across, international training for pilots, because they've gone above and beyond.
They've done a great job to try to make it, as real as possible, to really be a flight simulator. I've heard from some people that it's still not quite, it's not quite there, but it is, very close. And I think approaching, an actual training, I could see a lot of consumers, being interested in, training to be a real pilot, through a game.
Same. And I see the comment there from Crispy too. It's like, I think there is an aspect of Flight Simulator that isn't for everyone, and that's okay. I love that it is the current game that's pushing hardware, because if you got people out there, they're like, I want this. They obviously have the budget for it. That these chip developers want to make sure that they're getting out these new chips. So I think it is something to be said with regard to it pushing like Crysis pushed for us back when Crysis was first a thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is kind of the crisis of our, of this generation right now, pushing your specs. I'm excited to see, all the Microsoft Flight Simulator content that's going to be coming out. There seems to be a lot. People are really excited. There's been some bugs that I've heard of, but overall, it's been a good experience for a lot of consumers. Yeah,
I've seen some of those bugs, but overall, I would say like 90% of that game is just breathtaking. Like as Keanu Reeves would say. So it's just it's awesome to see it's doing this well. And 2.6 billion just for hardware.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Hardware only.
I'm sorry, that's ridiculous.
So our next topic is about Outriders, as Outriders reveals a Technomancer class and co-op Carnage gameplay.
So if we know anything about Outriders, it is that there are former Gears of War developers handling the development of this game, and it has a very strong feel to Gears of War. So when we check it out, you know, it is definitely something you're gonna get that vibe. And one of our broadcasts, when we promoted Outsiders and talked about it, this time we're actually now seeing that Square Enix has revealed a new class, the Technomancer, and has a new gameplay video, which is the co-op gameplay we're finally going to get to see.
So working alongside Devastator and Pyromancer teammates in an intense trench warfare battle, the Technomancer takes center stage, showcasing their abilities during one of the many challenging battles players will experience in Outriders.
And featuring a truly free-form blend of weapons and powers that will turn you into a superhuman god of the battlefield, Outriders is an aggressive, intensely brutal RPG shooter experience that challenges you to define your playstyle and master the synergies between your powers, class builds, and equipment. Also, you get to play alone or play with the team up to 2 other players and create deadly combinations as you journey across the dangerous hostile planet of Enoch.
Bartek Kamita, a creative director at People Can Fly, said the Technomancer is an exciting and flexible class that can be built as anything from crowd control focused support to a high-powered artillery heavy damage dealer. They're a great addition to any team of Outriders. When they went on to say that co-op in Outriders is an intense and challenging experience that allows for a great variety of team synergies and power combinations. Players will need to truly master their team tactics in order to take on the toughest challenges in the game.
Sorry, I had to. It is getting really hot here.
Oh no!
So I turned my fan on me because I kept sweating. So I was continually doing the Trump mouth sweat thing happening.
What's that?
So yeah, if you ever watch him do a speech, he just nonstop sweats like right here around the mouth.
Oh, I did not need to know that. Listen. Oh, why did I ask? So we're gonna take a look at the spotlight on the Technomancer. We're actually gonna take a look at the Devastator class spotlight. Do you have the video up so we can start at the same time?
Yes, I do. Give me.
Okay, this is the 8-minute video.
8-minute video.
Right.
I'm gonna time it up. I understand and wish to proceed. Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, start.
Greetings, Outriders. Welcome back to our Spotlight series, videos that explore specific features of the game. Today, we are delving into the 3rd class, the ground-shaking, earth-quaking Devastator.
As Devastators, we shatter the earth around us, a brute force powered by the planet itself.
And then we're gonna look at the Technomancer after this.
Yeah. Is it Folger's copy?
Is the video kind of quiet? I'll turn this up.
Devastators are your typical run-of-the-mill tank class. But once you get to know these not-so-friendly giants, you'll soon realize that they can match the other classes regarding sheer damage and devastation. An important thing to note is that the Devastator can be a
very, I get that strong, Gears of War and a little bit of Anthem vibes. Which I'm always hesitant to be like, Anthem!
Right. Have you been looking at reviews for this game? I don't really know what people have been thinking about it.
I don't think there have been any reviews yet. This is a lot of just previews and people talking about what they expect from the game, which I think a lot of people are expecting, good quality.
Powers and effects centered around 3 core tenets.
Anthem is a hard
protection,
and
seismic. Its melee type is slightly different from the other classes.
This is where kind of like that Destiny feel comes in.
It does feel like Destiny. Or does look like Destiny. Which also gives me pause because Destiny 2... comparing this to Destiny 2 and Anthem right now...
Can have its resistance for sure.
Now, we know what you're thinking. Sounds similar to the Trickster, right? Well, there are actually
I don't know enough about the Trickster to compare this.
At base level, the difference is that Tricksters get shields for each close range kill, and Devastators just have more HP and armor as standard. But they start to
that's a good question of how much content is there going to be versus how much repetition.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge skill tree.
Specific class tree paths and nodes. For example, stealing enemy armor for each enemy slain in close range. An upgraded Devastator will most
That's
likely
cool.
have the most armor and health buffs out of all of the classes. These mechanics mean that if you want to be an unstoppable juggernaut as a Devastator,
Looks
you'll need
cool.
to keep chasing
It does.
into the heart of combat, making sure you're always in the thick of it if you want to maintain your health.
Yeah, gunplay,
Powers.
cover system, moving
Each class
around,
has 8
very
powers
Gears
in
of War,
total.
which
You'll start
I
with
love
level
the
power and
familiarity of a
unlock more as
gameplay
you
that
level up.
I loved a lot.
In this video, we're showing you 4 of the Devastator's abilities, and we'll showcase the other half in the future. Power 1, Gravity Leap. Upon using Gravity Leap,
I don't know how I feel about the graphics.
For a few seconds.
I'm undecided.
Activating the power
Yeah.
once more whilst targeting an enemy, which will be highlighted in yellow, will cause you to slam down on them, dealing area damage to
I like the
all
effect of
nearby
certain things being in
enemies.
focus, at least
This
for
is
right
an
there.
excellent
For
option
sure.
to quickly
I like the
recharge
power-up
yourself
too.
into
The power-ups have a
defensive
clear
devices
effect on the
or
world
maybe
around,
exiting
which I like to
from
see.
isolated, faraway enemies.
But it does go back. That's the part of it that I wish it created the damage and it stayed.
Wait, what do you mean it goes back?
So like the ground modifies due to the AoE, but instead of staying like that, it goes back to the way it was.
Reverts.
Yeah.
Channeling their own skills. Just make sure that you don't have it on cooldown at those key moments. Power 2, Reflect Bullets. Using
I'm even getting like a Division 2 feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one as well. I mean, we're not naming the best games to compare this to, other than like Gears of War,
Right.
1.
A great skill to cover your allies while they get into position, or during a team charge.
It already looks a bit grindy to me, but I don't know if
Oh,
I'm
for
just
sure.
being judgy. Like, I feel like
No,
this
I
game's
think
gonna be
its
a lot
whole
of the
purpose
same.
is to be grindy.
I don't think this game is gonna be for me. I don't think this is my
No.
kind of game.
This means that you'll want to chase down the biggest
Anyone in
outpourings
chat,
of
would you
lead,
play this game?
crush them,
Is this
and
something that
then
would be
throw
up your
them right
alley?
back in the enemy's face.
That's a cool feature.
Power 3.
The catching the bullets.
This is the Outriders team's
Sending it back.
personal favorite Devastator attack. Want to know why? That's why. When using
That's
Impale,
cool.
you select an enemy
I'm about
to
that.
interact
Oh, wow.
with. This is highly effective when dealing with bosses and
Whew.
pesky skills, but is also a very useful ability for dealing with mobs too. If the damage dealt by Impale is lethal,
Oh, nice.
the enemy will be
That's cool.
speared by a stone spike, granting your squad an armor bonus and health regen for 9 seconds. Impale also has 7 potential modifiers that could be applied to it through gear. For example, the mod Spike Forest,
Oh,
which
wow.
can be found on a legendary gear set, means that Impale can strike 1 additional target. Safety in numbers. I don't
Wow.
think so.
I like that laugh.
Power 4, Endless Mass. Endless Mass releases a
Yeah, I'm with Crispy on this. Like, this is a game where I'm like, hey, friends, let's get together and play.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think this is a cool friend co-op game.
Black hole. Endless Mass is a hugely versatile skill and will likely form at least part of your strategy when playing with friends. The ability to draw large numbers of enemies.
I think they've
into a
only
tightly
shown
packed
single-player
means that
gameplay
most
so
other
far.
targeted skills from both
Yeah.
Devastators and other
I think
classes
this is specifically
get to an
Devastator,
effect.
and then we'll see the co-op
As
one.
mentioned,
'cause
these
I think
are
the co-op
only
one is a
half of the
separate-
Devastator's
I
skills.
see.
Subscribe to
Separate.
keep in the loop about the other 4.
Trailer they revealed.
Power combos. As Devastators feed off close-range kills, they need to lock distances between enemies down very quickly. Combining Endless Mass with Gravity Leap will mean that a Devastator
Right.
can instantly be amongst the enemy, causing havoc, dishing out damage. Reflect Bullets can then
Super
be used
close
to
range.
minimize damage
Yeah.
against you, whilst you're the center of attention. Before you turn the tables on the enemy. Eat lead, baby.
Even some Mass Effect vibes, too.
Alter your Devastator. Each class has a tree of
Yeah, that is a
class
big
point
tree.
nodes that you can activate to alter the way your builds and skills work. Class points are acquired by leveling up. You won't be able to
And that's
fill
just
out
for the
class
one
tree,
class.
but you
Those
will
3
be
different
able to
paths.
reset
Right.
your nodes to switch up your gameplay as you go. The 3 branches for the Devastator are Vanquisher, Warden, and Seismic Shifter. with each branch providing both major and minor passives that affect your character's type of damage focus and
Close
survivability.
range, seismic
The
skills.
Vanquisher branch is all about grappling
Yeah.
up close and personal with the enemy, and thus provides bonuses for weapons like shotguns or assault rifles. The Warden branch will truly move mountains and is the ultimate tank, with very high bonuses to health, armor, and resistances. The Seismic Shifter branch is most useful at mid-range combat and focuses on anomaly damage for seismic skills such as Impale. This branch also
I think it's cool how within the branches you could be more mid-range or tanky, because I just assumed
Yeah.
with the Devastator how they were talking about it, that it was going to be just like brawler or like
The whole
bruiser
time.
only,
Yeah.
yeah.
So not only do you get to pick one of the overall classes, you get to break down how do you want to play as that class, which is great for replayability.
But we don't want to spoil the fun too much today, so we will showcase these in another video.
That even looks like a shotgun from Gears of War. I'm so much of what I'm seeing, I'm like, yep, I recognize that.
Just if you did. Keep an
Even
eye
like
out
their
on our YouTube
size,
channel
they're
for
just
future
naturally
gameplay
bigger
videos and
characters.
other spotlight
Right,
videos.
right. All right, let's check out another one of the videos about this. I am heading on over
Yeah.
to
The co-op Carnage.
Yeah, the co-op Carnage.
Nice.
All right.
I'm a huge Gears of War fan, so I was from 1 specifically. It did obviously fall off as Epic released their Control, but I will say if these are former Epic devs doing this, maybe this is where they wanted to take Gears of War, and they kind of had to do the same thing that Bungie had to do with Destiny and go, hey, we have to create this whole new world to make this work out.
Right, if they had to, you know, take this direction. I mean, people like these games. You know, it's unfortunate to hear when, you know, developers have to, you know, take a new direction that they didn't necessarily want, but I'm at least glad that, you know, the style still lives on for those who do want to play it.
Yep.
All right, so this one I'm hitting play in 3, 2, 1, play. It's rated M, everyone.
Hey, hello everyone. This is Sven with a very special treat.
What's up,
It's time to
Sven?
feast your eyes on some brand new co-op action, where I play as Kayla to show you the final class in action. The class that you have all been waiting for, the Tectomancer. An advanced, hard-hitting tactical specialist.
Yo, thanks so
Able to
much,
stomp on
Kai.
a wide range of deadly
Hey, thank you,
contraptions.
Kai.
We have a great fire team on the field today.
All right, Guff, we
with
will
Lucy
catch you.
taking helm of the Devastator, and Robbie is in command of a Pyromancer. So sit back and enjoy a few minutes of intense co-op gameplay. And we talk again in a bit.
I will say if the action is intense and challenging, this would be one of those games where it's like get on with 2 really good friends and just see how
Just
well
go
you guys
ham.
can do. Yeah. Oh, got it. All right, Guff, glad you're staying.
Oh, she's cool.
She's a BA.
Today, we shall see victory! A great new altered fights at our side. Together, we shall fuck them up!
This is already so much more intense than the last video we watched.
Oh yeah, completely.
Someone draws fire! Die! Fuck you!
The voice line.
Wow. Oh, damn.
Yeah, this looks way more fun than the last video.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Okay.
Item drops.
Just gonna summon some fire from the ground and engulf you until you explode. Nice.
Super cool. Those turrets are cool.
I'm loving the turret.
Dang!
I love how the
and the
weapon is
fog.
the size of their bodies.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Oh, Kane Guardian got what's in the mug earlier. It's coffee.
For me, I have
Oh,
a type of tea. You have to guess
Yes.
the type.
Haven't figured-
I like this this combat in the trenches and the kind of
Yeah.
fog of war that's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Because previously it kind of looks like you're just in like open terrain and you just go at it. Versus this looks, you know, so much more dark, more moody, you know, harder to navigate.
Yeah. I noticed that too. You went from open space to confined space.
Yeah.
I haven't watched this trailer yet, so this is the first time I'm seeing it. All right. Oh, nice.
I like that part. Kind of platformery.
They're having like a little boss fight inside the
Yeah.
trenches.
Yeah. No, EG, but I was considering drinking cherry blossom tea today, but I thought that would be too obscure.
Ancient tea.
Keep pushing! Secure that hilltop! Don't give them time to breathe!
And you're not giving us time to breathe.
How would you compare this to how fun Destiny 2 co-op was? If you ever played a lot of that.
One, in terms of like the first person feel, very different in terms of what you see, what you're seeing on the battlefield. Destiny 2 at a point hit its ceiling very fast.
Right. I
The
know.
thing they said about this game is they have created specifically for endgame content.
I see. Because whenever I see co-op gameplay, I'm like, what is the fun factor for missions like this?
The intensity and trying to survive. Oh yeah, I mean that's a complete Gears animation right there with the red circling. He's about, if he gets downed, is he gonna be like on? Yep, there it is. Okay. Yeah.
It's the same thing. This is just Gears.
Which I'm not upset by. I'm like, yeah, this is Gears of War. Oh, that's cool. The guy getting in front, blocking the bullet so he can res. Very intense.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh my god.
I like that death animation. I think this game is a lot more fantastical than I realized.
Yeah. I was just about to say, I was like, there are so many elemental effects happening right now in
There's
this
like
footage.
the freeze. There's like impale from the grounds, like conjuring turrets from nothing. The fire
Boom,
everywhere.
there it is.
Yeah.
Nice. Get out of here, son.
Boom! And there you have it. The Technomancer has arrived, and the 4th class is finally revealed. For this specific loadout, we showed you 3 of the Technomancer's powers. A sticky proximity mine / grenade hybrid, a conjured RPG, and a mighty pain launcher, which fires a wide
Pain launcher?
Pain launcher.
It should already
Love
give you
the
a
name.
good idea about the
Yeah.
versatility
What
of this
is
class,
this type of
especially in
launcher?
combination with your devastated
Rockets?
pyromancer and
No.
trickster co-partners.
You know, it inflicts a
Allowing
lot of
many new and
pain.
exciting possibilities when it comes to refining how
Pain
the many
launcher.
different powers in your fire team
It's just-
complement
Right,
each
just
What a
straight
name.
up.
and speaking about our friend the Devastator, Lucy just showed a lot of cool new stuff you can do with this class. And you can dive even more into the nitty-gritty details of the Devastator in this month's Spotlight. So be sure to check that out.
Which we just
We
did.
hope you enjoyed this
Nice.
exciting look into Outriders' brutal and thrilling co-op possibilities. And I also hope you are all already building out your dream team in your heads. And as always, stay safe out there, people. And I see
Stay
you in the next
safe,
Outriders broadcast.
gamers.
Thank you.
That was
Outriders
cool.
dead. Yeah,
Cool
it's got
stuff.
that feel of like this is going to be good times, hop on, PvE experience, very similar to Gears of War, elements of the skill trees like you'd see in Anthem, elements of gameplay and gunfight very much like you saw in Mass Effect along with Gears of War. And I would say maybe there's a little bit of like Division 2 grinding going on there. So maybe it'll take what all these games did well and put it together under one roof called Outriders.
I hope that they, kind of add that into their marketing somehow, because I think right now when I ask people like, hey, have you heard of Outriders? They're kind of like, what? Or like,
yeah,
maybe I've heard of it, but if it was described to them as all those games that you just listed, I think it would generate a lot more interest, and people would actually really be way more down to try this game or check out this game, because the name isn't that indicative of much, and because it has so many things going on, it's hard to kind of sum up. I feel in a way that a lot of gamers really resonate with, at least as is.
Yeah, it could be the case that they're like, hey, we just kind of want to get word of mouth going for this game. I mean, that could be the case. They're not trying to overhype it. I think almost all of these games that we've referenced, Destiny 2, Anthem, even the last Mass Effect, even the Division 2, there was a lot of hype surrounding these titles that did not deliver, and ultimately you had a lot of players come to the table, get really excited, and then the game just hit a ceiling really fast. And they could just be going the route of, hey, let's not talk about it too much, other than let's just tell people what's in the game and see if they want to play it.
Yeah, and it's also, I feel, really hard to develop some of these games, with end game content, because I think oftentimes it's underestimated how much players will play a game. Even with like World of Warcraft, people get to level 60 relatively quickly. They're like, okay, just get to level 60. For a lot of these games, like just get to all the end game content, and I already have 300 hours in the game, and there's no content left. And because people play a lot, I think more than expected, it must be hard to balance, just a normal amount of what should be expected from a game versus, how much players are actually going to be playing it.
Yeah, I will play this game because I am, someone was saying in the chat earlier, I just kind of want a solid third-person experience outside of just a pure single-player experience. And I think with all these games pushing towards players playing together because they know that's what we want, like we talked about with regard to Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad game reveal, like this is what developers are going to focus on, is bringing players together. Ghost of Tsushima, an amazing single-player third-person experience, is introducing a multiplayer aspect as well. So if they do that well and it lands, then you'll probably see that interest grow, especially if their claim of focusing on end-game content is true, because then that'll have players go, hey, wow, I actually have a game that I feel like I'm still moving along, even though my character's at quote-unquote max level.
Right. I think that there's definitely a way that, this game can garner a lot of attention, as you said, through word of mouth, especially through co-op. If someone's like, hey, this game is fun, I'm going to recruit my friends to come join with me and, also buy the game and also, play alongside them. I could see this being successful. I wonder, how long it might take. It might be like a kind of a slow growth to maybe getting its peak amount of players. But it looks good. It looks fun. It does not look like my kind of game, to be honest, but it does look fun for others.
Well, a game that I will say that I think a lot of people are still extremely interested in is not stopping and is growing and is continuing in a direction that is of no surprise to anyone once you hear that Minecraft Education, which is the perfectly suited, surreal back to school moment.
So, when the pandemic hit this spring, a lot of teachers turned to Minecraft during their mad scramble for tools that could make remote learning work. Earlier this year, Microsoft added an education section to the Minecraft marketplace, and since March, 63 million pieces of content have been downloaded.
Sorry, the weed tea comment really
is not that.
But it's just so funny. Weed tea? So, Minecraft Education Edition isn't new. Its digital nature makes it an almost ideal tool for this strange time. It allows for multiplayer activities. It's available on a large range of devices, and perhaps most importantly, is something kids are already enjoy doing. Deirdre Quanstrom, GM of the Minecraft Atlas division, which focuses on broader initiatives like education, said we've already had a lot of features in the game, so we're well suited from the beginning.
The educational offshoot of Minecraft officially launched in 2016, though the game was used in schools for years prior to that thanks to grassroots efforts from various teachers dating back nearly a decade. Cornstrom, which is such a hard name to say, Cornstrom, really says that this was part of the appeal when Microsoft acquired Minecraft studio Mojang in 2014. They said that we really saw the potential to make something much, much bigger. So with Education Edition, Microsoft created a more formal structure with pre-made lessons covering everything from chemistry and coding to giving students the opportunity to explore the International Space Station. You can even play, the Oregon Trail, that OG game, if you remember.
It's so awesome. So look, there are plenty of games designed explicitly for education, as well as popular games adapted for the classroom. But part of what has made Minecraft so successful is its combinations of ubiquitous popularity and a flexible nature. It's a game where you can do everything from building an entire library that houses censored journalism to attending a virtual rock concert.
I remember reading about that library with censored journalism, and people were like, but in telling this to everyone, you just realize that this is going to get censored in some places, right? And it was like, Minecraft is also different from other educational games, which are often rigid and, boring. It's actually entertaining for a lot of people, and that's true whether you're messing around with friends in survival mode or doing coding lessons in class. Cornstrom says, "We started with this premise that Minecraft is a game used in education, not an educational game, and that was something that was really important." They said that we've seen educational games that are just not fun, not engaging, that come and go. We wanted to make sure we protected what made Minecraft so immersive and so engaging in the learning environment. As we've introduced new features, that's really helped guide our decisions.
So all of this combined for a perfect storm as schools were forced to shift to remote learning this year. Minecraft was something many kids already understood. It's not the Minecraft, it's the comment in chat.
It's not brisk.
Yeah, it's brisk, baby. It's not brisk. Minecraft was something many kids already understood. It allowed for real-time interaction between students and teachers, and Minecraft had spent years prior building a fairly robust library of lessons, plans, and covering topics like science, writing, history, math, computer science, and art. The educational version of Minecraft is functionally identical to the base game. It looks and controls the same, and you can still play it in groups and build things. But whereas Minecraft is typically about freeform creation or survival, it's the educational version that is slightly more directed.
So in one lesson, students are asked to explore a beehive where they learn about bee casts by helping out worker bees and feeding larvae. In another, they're given time to explore a shipwreck at the bottom of the ocean and then are asked to write a story about how the ship ended up there. There are also build challenges where teams will have to work together to recreate things like a Mars rover, coral reef, or human eye. In most cases, there are before and after elements. Kids will read or watch videos on a particular subject as a primer, spend some time in the Minecraft lesson, either individually or in groups, and then follow that up with a discussion or written assignment.
It's amazing. I mean, and despite the influx of new users, Cornstrom says that Microsoft didn't make any changes to the game itself. Instead, the company put more focus on the way it interacts with the community. Cornstrom says that the shift we made was in how we're packaging things and onboarding educators and communicating to them. That meant putting together new remote learning kits for teachers, as well as additional resources for parents to help kids get set up while at home. And the game's website also gives interested educators the ability to connect with each other to share ideas and tips.
Some of these initiatives were already in the works, but fast-tracked due to the pandemic. Perhaps the most significant is the recent announcement that Minecraft Education Edition now supports Chromebooks. The game is already available on PC, Mac, and iPad, but Chromebooks are used widely in schools and, crucially, are relatively inexpensive. The shift to remote learning has also raised concerns about equity, as not every student has access to the same tools or parental guidance while at home. Minecraft still isn't perfect in this regard. You still need a laptop or tablet and a decent internet connection, but it's getting better. Cornstrom says broadening which devices we're available on will help address some of those equity concerns.
And Minecraft is used differently depending on the age of the students involved. There are art lessons plans for kids at as young as 6, while high school level courses are generally focused on the STEM subjects. Meanwhile, college students seem to be more focused on the social aspect of Minecraft, using the base game to recreate their campuses. But either way, it offers something unique. As educators struggle with keeping students engaged while learning remotely, there's actually a chance to meet kids where they already are.
Kornstrom says there are a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty. My hope is that a tool like Minecraft that is adaptable will help provide some stability.
Tea-flavored tea.
Should I just say what it is? Do y'all want to keep guessing?
Did anybody get somewhat close? I think someone might have gotten somewhat close. Because I'm aware.
Really?
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah, Marone knows what it is. I think that this is great to meet kids where they are. I mean, remote learning seems so hard. It's even hard for me doing online classes. I get distracted. It's easy to have like a lecture open and also be like texting your friends or like eating lunch. It's hard to just sit still and, pay attention if it's an online class. So I think it's great that this is a way, for kids to play a game, and they're probably going to be more engaged. And if the game is, a compound creator where you're combining elements and you're learning how they work, and it's already built in that you can combine things in Minecraft, so being able to use that to apply it to elements and chemistry, I think is a great idea.
I don't think I ever considered Minecraft to be as powerful as a tool as it actually is when it first came out. But to see what they're using it for now, and to give that directed approach specifically within the educational branch of Minecraft, I think the choice of fast tracking this because of the situation of everyone learning remotely is only going to result in probably some slow beginnings, but what will be in a few months from now, after more people are using it, more educators are coming to the platform, more innovators are coming to the platform, that will slowly get to a place where we'll start to see even more of Minecraft's abilities that we didn't think of before coming into play. And what does that mean for when we shift back to, the somewhat vaccinated normal of reality? How will that still be applied when you realize, like, oh, wow, people were learning almost better in the Minecraft format? So we need to continue to even bring this over when we're back in the classroom.
I could see that being applied if there was like a homework assignment in Minecraft that you had to complete. Maybe it's like you study these chemicals.
Wait, fun homework?
Homework?
What?
And maybe like screenshot your progress, or maybe there's like a worksheet the next day in class to show that you actually did it. And you didn't just pretend that you did it. Because I think this is a really strong tool. I also didn't realize how robust Minecraft was. I think it kind of is very telling, and kind of sucks that, this is Minecraft taking on, being an educational tool instead of like the government doing it, or, more school districts doing it. But at least, we have this. I think this is way better than a lot of, if anyone has taken like an online test or has done online science homework, it can be a nightmare. You've seen those screenshots where, a kid will enter in like 2.10, and then it'll be like, wrong, it's actually 2.1. And you're like, okay, maybe with the significant figures, it should say that, but it's just so frustrating, thinking you just have the answer wrong. And, I wrestle with, online quizzes and stuff. I know a lot of students do as well. I would also like to see this, extend into when the pandemic is over. I agree that, having the hardware to play this on is a bit of an issue, especially, with not everyone having a Chromebook or an internet connection. These things are expensive, and not a lot of families, or not every family, has access to these.
Yeah, and that is where I think we're going to see the next innovation within Minecraft, is how do we get Minecraft to a place that everyone can access it easily, no matter what device they're using. This could be a feature that we find from cloud gaming, if that's going to be a thing, Minecraft Cloud. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a thing. Just some way of getting that to everyone, because there's not just a appeal for one country. It's all countries that could benefit from this. having the internet connection to be able to do it,
Right.
or getting some sort of offline mode that can also continue to teach and educate. It's that moment of sitting in the situation that that we are currently sitting in as a society, and saying, what are the avenues that we have to survive this and still continue to educate? Because that is a thing that a lot of educators have commented on, which is, you don't want to lose the momentum of educating like we could lose in this process. So with people already gaming more, and we have a generation coming off of gamers, continue to gamify the educational experience, root it in, IPs that already exist, like Minecraft or anyone else out there that could do it, like Roblox as well, and focus. We should be budgeting towards this. There should be a lot of decisions that are going towards, this is a resource that we need to use. It almost needs to be like, can't mandate stuff in certain areas, but just incentivize using the tool and the platform, because you see the results that it provides.
Absolutely. And I think also when education is more fun, I think people retain more. At least I personally, retain more if something's more interactive, if I actually, enjoy the subject or enjoy,
Yes.
how it's being taught to me, I think is, really important for actually retaining that information versus, just regurgitating or doing everything by rote, or doing things in a way that, it's hard to have stick. Also, when people are learning from home, you're not in a quiet study environment. There's people like cooking and cleaning and talking around you, and it's so much harder to focus as well. I agree that this is something that, should be incentivized to be invested in. I think Minecraft could be a pillar of education, in the next few
Crazy.
years.
I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing that across, like, in the States, K through 12, or however it breaks down in other countries, that you just see it's a part of the core curriculum to educating our future generations. That is a significant day for the gaming industry as a whole.
Absolutely. So our next topic is about Unity, which we kind of touched on when we were talking with Drew and we were talking about Fortnite, and we've got another story for you.
Yeah, we do. There was recently an IPO filing that shows how big a threat Unity actually poses to Epic and the Unreal Engine.
So Unity, maker of the popular Unity game engine, has filed to go public at an incredible moment in time. Its chief rival, Epic Games, is currently busy arguing that Apple is holding the Unreal Engine hostage, and Epic will appear in court, this afternoon to demand a restraining order so Apple can't cut off access to developers.
And what's more incredible, though, is the numbers revealed in Unity's new S1 filing show that the company is far more of a formidable rival to Epic than thought.
So we knew that the early surge of interest in Unity may have forced Epic's hand, first when Epic drastically dropped the price of Unreal Engine in 2014, and in 2015 when it started letting developers build with Unreal just for free.
But despite those moves, Unity says that in 2019, over half of the top games on mobile, PC, and consoles were made with Unity, including 53% of the top 1,000 games in the iOS App Store, as well as Google Play.
So, wasn't exactly right, because Kane looked up what was in the tea drops thing, but this is just ginger tea, no citrus.
Oh!
But it's close enough, I'll take that. Ginger tea.
Kane is on point, as... Yeah, she's like
she got
doing
a hint,
really well.
but yes, but still got it. So Unity says as of June 30th, it has a global reach of 2 billion monthly active end users, which are consumers, not developers, adding up to 8 billion hours of gameplay per month, as well as 1.5 million monthly active creators. Those creators developed 8,000 apps and games each month with Unity in the 6 months prior to June 30th.
Wow. And while surely many of those 8,000 apps and games are tiny projects, that's the charm of game engines like Unity and today's Unreal, is that anyone can try them out. Unity says it has 716 specific customers that contributed more than $100,000 per year to its bottom line, 60 of which are using Unity for something other than games.
The S1 suggests Unity is continuing to grow too, both in terms of revenue, which was $542 million in 2019, up from $381 million in 2018, and employee headcount from 2,715 employees in December to 3,379 in June.
That's really good growth. However, it's
Great
not
growth.
all good news financially, though, as Unity has admitted that it's never made a profit since the very beginning. It lost $163 million this year, but that is up from $131 million the year before that.
So obviously, Unity would like you to think it's continually growing revenue that could make up for that loss, but like any IPO filing, it includes plenty of reasons, also known as risk factors, as to why that might not happen.
So we're not going to bore you with all of them, but this is the one that stuck out, and it started off by saying this. If we or our customers were to violate, or an operating system platform provider or application store believes that we or our customers have violated its terms of service or policies, that operating system platform provider or application store could limit or discontinue our or our customers' access to its platform or store.
The risk factor goes on to say, in some cases, these requirements may not be clear and our interpretation of the requirements may not align with the interpretation of the operating system platform provider or application store, which could lead to inconsistent enforcement of these terms of service or policies against us or our customers, and could also result in the operating system platform provider or application store limiting or discontinuing access to its platform or store.
I don't know if any of this language sounds familiar
It's like
to
legally.
anybody, because these are the sort of things that is actually being fought about right now between Apple and Epic.
So Unity also spends a considerable amount of time discussing how any changes to how China treats intellectual property, game software, and corporate ownership might impact its business.
Unity is planning to trade on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol U, which frankly is a little surprising, because I didn't know you could still call dibs on a single letter ticket symbol.
I think this is so interesting. It's also, I guess, a little peculiar that they're still not profitable, but they're still going public. I know a lot of companies aren't profitable and still get, a ton of investments, because Unity seems like a great platform. Adiana is built on Unity, and I think it's, also interesting that they stuck in this risk factor that sounds just like, the Epic and Epic, fight that's happening right now with changes in policy, or our interpretation of things might not be another company's, and, consumers are going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, I would say that this is a choice that I hope pays off for Unity, because I think the understanding that the gaming industry is booming right now, and it is one of those investments that, though it may feel worrisome because yes, Unity itself hasn't quote unquote made a profit, it has made a profit amongst the community because people talk about it all the time. We see more developers trying it out. As some were just saying in the chat, if I'm able to learn the basics, it would be something that I would attempt to do. I know there are more and more Unity courses being taught through different websites and services out there. It is a platform, as we saw with Adiana, that it is impressive and it can do quite a lot. And there could be some sort of shocker title that comes out that everybody starts playing, and it's built in Unity, and that even in and of itself helps it grow in the stock market.
That's true. I think there's a good thing going. For Unity, it seems like a very robust platform. As you said, there's a lot of courses, that people can pick up on it and be able to create games with it. It seems like they're doing a good job also being conscious of, how China treats intellectual property. I thought that was, great that that Unity openly discusses that, because I think a lot of tech companies especially like to shy away from, anything that might seem compromising or might seem to, put any consumer or any information at a security risk, just seems to be shied away from. So I thought it was, nice that they are, discussing that. I'm looking forward to, Unity coming to the forefront more. I feel like I've been hearing mostly just about Unreal Engine, especially with Unreal Engine 5 coming out, but it seems like Unity is also, a great tool to use.
There needs to be a place where it doesn't feel like Unreal Engine, which I believe, at least from my very layman's understanding of that that language, it's more complex because of what you're
see.
able to actually do. So with Unity, it's a great place to start. It's going to have its limitations, but it's also going to have its benefits in the fact that it's helping you get into a place of learning and understanding game creation. And as we know, moving into the next gen, or at least this is what those developers are saying, that it's going to be even easier moving to next gen. So what does Unity look like when it's being used for like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and some of these next gen experiences, especially with PC hardware coming out as we're seeing it do that? What kind of, modified, complex gaming that may be 8-bit, 12-bit experiences that are just still so engaging? We're seeing people go, you got to have this title, because we couldn't even imagine or fathom that someone was able to do this with the Unity engine.
That's true. And, hearing about how Unreal, might be more complex to use or complex to learn, like, just because it's more complex doesn't necessarily mean it's the better platform for a lot of people. And I think, a lot of, game developers are being increasingly self-taught, and, if Unity is more approachable and is kind of, the program of choice to use, I could see that leading to a lot of its success in the long term. I wonder, how this IPO is going to go, if it's going to be super successful, if Epic is going to comment on this at all, or if they're, going to address, what's been happening with the threat of Unreal, being removed from Apple devices. I think it was already decided that, those Unreal apps weren't going to be removed.
Yeah, a judge ruled in terms of you're not able to remove the engine because of the detriment to people's professions and livelihoods, but it's the other aspect of like Fortnite itself specifically and Epic Games specifically that I think is still being fought.
Yeah, I guess this is just a side piece of news I want to throw in. So there's a Fortnite new season, and there's going to be a lot of updates, and apparently on Android devices you'll get, the latest Fortnite, but on iOS devices, Fortnite is kind of in a state of stagnation, where no updates can be rolled out, just as an update to the ongoing battle.
Yeah, so, I personally, if I have the money to do it, I'm gonna invest in it, because I like to, I believe in, contributing towards something that you believe in. And I do believe in the video game industry. I'm very passionate about video games. I have been since I was younger, and since people are like, you're wasting your time,
Oh my God.
Now, and how much it's benefiting the economy internationally, that it's like, have I been wasting my time?
Right.
So because once that goes out, I'm curious to see what it's trading at, but it could be a very smart choice for anyone who's like, I've got some money to invest, to go ahead and invest in things like Unity, because I was shocked recently at what NVIDIA is being traded at. They are doing very well, and that's not surprising, seeing how advanced chips have become and what they're doing in computing. So it could be one of those things where you're like, get in on the ground floor, because you have no idea the ceiling. And especially with gaming right now, we have no idea the ceiling. We're not even looking at the ceiling right now with video games.
I've been hearing more and more, people talk about investing in, a lot of video game companies doing really well, PC hardware, a lot of companies that have these, programs that are being heavily utilized in the pandemic. There's a lot of money in gaming. It's only getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and I love the comment here where it's like, look, if you were a kid growing up and didn't pretend to throw Hadoukens with a pillow, did you even game? So true. So true. I think I was the kind of, I would take a pillow and Sonic Boom. That's what I think I would do. Throw it so it would do the little spin.
Gotta have those tricks in there. So as an update for our YouTube, what we're going to be doing more moving forward is actually just posting, segments of like, hey, we discussed, for example, Unity, or we discussed Outriders, and posting, a video of that versus just the entire VOD. So the VODs are still going to be on this site here, but we might not be, uploading the entire, whole thing to YouTube. Maybe we'll be doing both. And again, if anyone, has created YouTube thumbnails, wants more experience doing that, it is difficult for us to keep up with the amount of content that we're creating. So if you're interested, I think it would be easiest to send a message to the mailbag if you're interested in helping us design YouTube thumbnails.
we would greatly appreciate it. So any members of the DGN family or extended family, please, let us know if you'd like to help us out. We will be forever in your debt. But do tune in tomorrow because we do have some stories that we will be talking about tomorrow that we didn't get to talk about today. One of those is this new asymmetrical shooter game coming out, which is called Monstrum 2. There has been a closed beta preview, and the tagline that was given, I thought was really cool, is Dead by Torchlight.
I love that. And we'll also be delving into Nintendo's plans for 2021, which include an upgraded Switch console and the major games that they're thinking of.
And we'll probably throw in the big reveal that happened today regarding Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which I did get to experience that live event. It was pretty cool, and I will say I was pleasantly surprised with the hype that I felt watching the trailer for Cold War.
Nice. So we'll be getting into that. So make sure you tune in tomorrow on Thursday. We are live from 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific every weekday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much to all the members of the DGN family and everybody tuning in and watching. I loved the What's in the Mug.
That was great.
It's so much fun to just watch all of these guesses. I think I need to start picking teas so
I
that mine
know
isn't
some of
just
those teas.
coffee and Marrone loses. Great.
Thank you so much again. We'll see you all tomorrow. But for today's Daily Gaming News, I am Kaisa.
I am Marrone. And we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.